Persona.
You have no idea how many memories you just flooded back into me viewing this.
Persona. I would clap, but...
Hey yo, dude, should I play pea shooter, chomper, sunflower, or cacti?
Sunflower.
Alright. New ability. Heal beam! Oh my god, Stingray, I just got heal beam. Oh my god, I just got heal beam. I win.
You're the best in the game. You cannot lose.
The sunflower is a natural healer. Her beam keeps teammates happy and healthy. Dude,
unhappy.
Unhappy and unhealthy.
I don't like being healed.
Oh yeah, that's right. You can literally launch yourself infinitely with the cannon Walnut Hills.
That was a moment.
It's just so quiet. I might honestly just keep like deleting and reinstalling Garland for one just to experience this over and over again. That's how much I love it. Like, dude, the nostalgia!
Did you get it day one? Garden Whisperer one?
Close enough, if I remember correctly. Wasn't exactly though.
Not exactly, not real.
I'm a fake PvZ fan. Why do the zombies deal so much damage? Why is this on crazy mode?
It's just too crazy. They're just cuckoo crazy.
My god, dude. I want to go back to when Garden for One was a cool. Well, actually, no, Garden for One was. I want to go back when Garden for. Well, no, I don't know.
You want to go back? That's all we know.
Wait a minute. Are those chili peppers in the real game? I actually don't know if they are. Interesting.
What chili?
Oh no, so in front of the Walnut Hills mansion, there are like hedgers of like chilies. Ayo, Stingray.
No. What?
You see fun BFN facts that'll make you cry potential.
No, anything about BFN makes me cry.
Okay, fine then. Battle for Neighborville.
Stop. That's harassment.
Wait, what?
Actually.
Oh, hey, dude, there's a vase in front of the mansion. Oh shit! PopCap zombie. That's right.
That's wrong, actually. You're actually based if you didn't know.
Dude, all I have is heal beam, which is literally useless in this version. Bro, the Yeti thing deals 50 damage. What? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Am I permanently dead? Can you not respawn? What? No.
I mean, it is crazy mode.
Oh, never mind. I'm fine. Okay, so that's the Yeti zombie. Found him. I remember there being a disco, I think.
Did you seriously only watch the intro of that video and just said, yeah, you know what, that's enough for me?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
For the FNF bike video.
I really have no idea what you're talking about.
For the FNF bike video.
I'm watching it right now.
For the FNF bike video. Base. Cry about it!
Mauled.
Mauled.
Let's go ahead and do some war stuff now. It's doing pretty good, you know? Yeah, I just started, thanks to Mylan,
If anyone is bald, if you have a parent or a relative Persona, if you have a family member or a relative that's bald, they were playing Destiny 2 and they were just getting mad at the GM. They were molding.
Bro, why is this so hard?
And I will say it too here and now, just as we finish up.
That's what she said.
I don't like, not serious. This is actually really fucking hard compared to like regular even crazy mode, honestly.
I always thought that you were at very least an honorary member of content creators who do lore, and you always sort of like reached into the sort of Venn diagram of that box. Just so you know, like you've always been one of the real ones. You always.
Why is Yeti in my spawn? Why is Yeti in my spawn?
I like.
Yes.
So I went to college for writing for TV. So I like when good writing is like displayed on like fully. I love it. So whenever there's like a chance to look at good writing and how a good like sentence flows and stuff like that, like I'm a nerd for that stuff. So I've always just loved any story.
I really hope that Stinger, I'm scared of the Yeti. May God help me.
Try to nerd out with you about Battlestar Galactica in that case, and I'll just leave it be for the time. But we should totally do that at some point. Yes, sir. Anyway, yeah. Predictions. Where do we want to start? I feel like we have a few notes in front of us, of course.
The Yeti has found me. The Yeti has found me. Help me, Stingray.
Don't get found, bro.
Yeah.
I still don't understand why the hell the installation is on crazy mode.
So, as far as predictions go for everything, there is obviously, I think probably the biggest thing to take over here and to really get to the nitty-gritty of as far as predictions are concerned is regarding Savathun, obviously. And the big thing that we have jumping on here, it's not the first thing we've got listed in the entirety of it, but I think it's one of the biggest questions that's immediately going to drop in the story campaign, and even just finishing up the Season of the Lost, is Savathun's death going to be involved? Is she actually going to die in the story campaign? And by that same token, there is the question of whether Savathun has some kind of involvement in the raid. I could start to that very quickly and say, like, hey, you know, maybe there's a lot that comes from that, but ultimately, I'm gonna throw that one to you. I know I have a potential, but what do you think? Do you reckon that Savathun's gonna live or not? So, it's very up in the air, right? And there's a lot of people that, you know, go back to the whole part with her worm, and the fact that her worm has her constantly needing to be tricking people. If you guys are unfamiliar, watch Fife's video on Savathun's lore. But there is this whole idea that Savathun always has to be tricking people to feed her worm, as well as, you know, killing and other stuff like that. But basically, she always has to be tricking. Well, there's been this idea that Savathun wants her worm removed. I mean, that's been like kind of the plot line for this season and X, Y, and Z. So if Savathun gets the light, that means that she doesn't have the tie, that maybe she doesn't have a tie to her worm anymore. And if she has the light and she doesn't have her worm anymore, then that means that she may not even need to be tricking people. It may mean that she avoids death because she somehow convinces us that she's a part of the light now and that she has no need to be tricking us. She has no need to be following the sword logic and constantly be tricking us anymore. But on the other hand, all I can think about as a player would be, you know, I'd be kind of frustrated if Savathun's story didn't end in the Witch Queen. I mean, we just got done with Aramis, who is not dead, according to the health bar, isn't dead. So Savathun not dying, I think, would piss a lot of people off. And I want to point to one very important thing with Savathun. In regards to Savathun, there is on Bungie.net, on the Witch Queen page, and this is light spoilers, so again, I think this whole video is probably going to deal with some form of spoilers, so if there hasn't been a spoiler warning before, just spoiler warning now. Basically, in the new raid, there is a line, the line for the new raid is, among the swamps of Savathun's throne world lies a sunken pyramid. Alongside your fire team, venture inward and confront the ancient danger imprisoned within. Now we know in the Taken King that Oryx didn't die in the campaign, he was killed in the raid. Well, if Savathun wants to follow that same plot, I don't see an ancient danger imprisoned within the raid being a bigger Savathun. So I do think that she's gonna die in the campaign. However, I don't think it's gonna be like a throwaway villain type of scenario, you know?
I completely agree. And more so than that, I feel like the throwaway villain trope that so many Destiny villains, such as Aramis, have fallen into is purely built on the fact that we haven't had time to explore them as characters. And I feel like Savathun appropriately bucks that trend, and as a result is actually the best villain that we've had thus far. And you know, obviously the conclusion to that story is probably going to come in the Witch Queen story campaign. And even if it does ultimately bleed over somewhere into the raid, I'm completely with you when I sit there and agree that it's almost certainly not going to be Savathun based on that wording alone. I mean, the fact that it's an ancient evil that was imprisoned there implies from the very beginning that it can't be Savathun. And whilst it might have some tie to her or some influence, which I kind of doubt considering other things that we'll discuss soon, I feel as though it still seems very likely that we're going to be looking at that being the focus for it instead. And maybe this is bringing us to a point where we sit there and say that Savathun's death is instead something that signals the plot point of what's going on in the pyramid. It's one of those moments where you sit there and perhaps in her final dying breath, it's like, by the way, hey, go check this thing out. It's kind of bad news, and I've had it contained in my throne world the whole time. Obviously not quite like that, but you know. It feels as though it's going to be something that's very different, especially with Savathun's changing allegiances.
And I think that's a big point. And the fact that it's not only something very different, but I think the fact that it's also inside of a pyramid ship imprisoned is like extra cool and more terrifying. And you know, maybe it's the I don't want to jump the gun here because I always do this, but you know, maybe it's the supposed darkness race. Who knows? Like, I don't know what else could be inside of a pyramid imprisoned. Could it be a darkness race? Could it be, you know, this might be crazy, but somehow it could be a worm god. Is it Taniks riding a worm god? I don't know.
Is it Darkness Taniks?
Is it Dark Taniks? Like,
I mean, yeah, no, honestly, it's one of those moments where it's very undefined, and the fact that it's inside a pyramid in the first place, it opens up a whole realm of possibilities that I don't think anybody has realistically...
Stingray?
What, when, wow?
So I went out of bounds in Garland for one, and I found the edge of the map.
Wow.
Oh wait, never mind, never mind, I'm just floating off the ground. That's nice. Well, goodbye. Goodbye, land. You are no longer necessary for... As a feature, I have ascended into godlyhood.
The closest thing I could possibly predict to it is that it would be a taken raid, but even then, whilst that's, I feel, somewhat more likely, maybe it's taken and Scorn, considering changing allegiances, which is something that we need to go ahead and just briefly touch on at some point later anyway. I think it's much more likely that it is taken, and I feel like it is also presenting us with that possibility.
Okay, so yeah, it is a floor.
That final darkness enemy that we've been looking for generally, and that has clearly been permeating the plot, and is clearly going to make a big move.
Oh, this is trippy and I hate it. All I see is the sky and the sun.
The idea of an extra enemy in the long run, I don't know, but I'm still kind of in your corner where I sit there and I say that it's got to be its own species. I feel like it is.
yeah, we've been sitting here for 7 years, 8 years now, and wondering like, hey, you know, when is it time to see, because we've seen the light, we've seen us, like we've seen all this stuff, but when is it time to see a true darkness enemy? And you know, you could argue that some of the enemies that we've already fought have been darkness enemies, but not in the way that I think people want to see. And it's been since the Taken and then the Scorn were the last new enemy introduced. So I think it's like I think it's about time that we see something new. I think it's also very possible that whatever we're going to see in that raid has some major story plot points, the same way that we saw with Deepstone Crypt having some major plot points for
Clovis Bray and for Tanix and understanding what the Deepstone Crypt was and what it is now and all this stuff. I think like we're going to see another major story told within the raid, and I'm so excited for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is the thing that I think Bungie has learned over the last however many years it is. You know, raids themselves were always really big, poignant moments for Destiny's story, just based on the fact that it was meant to be that pinnacle challenge. But Bungie has gotten a lot better with environmental storytelling in raids, and I feel as though the Garden of Salvation does a halfway good job of it, but Last Wish and Deepstone Crypt are masterful.
Yes.
They are absolutely spectacular as far as telling the story of what's going on and giving you that moment where you can sit there and look at the statue in the middle of the Deepstone Crypts and just after security encounter and be like, oh, this is why this was important. Oh,
Yeah.
you know, like, these are the moments that I think we should fully expect. And I mean, aside from anything else, it being in the pyramid ship alone implies that the sort of direction that we're going. And I think barely signposts